Oi, you twisted dark channel fiends, Chelsea diehards, Villa madheads, football's shadow dwellers. Welcome back to the murk where the beautiful game turns bloody and cold. I'm your storyteller, the one who drags you into the abyss where curses linger and the pitch becomes a battleground for the damned. Tonight we're not just poking fun. We're diving deep into a tale that'll chill your bones and make you question the fire in a man's soul. This is the warmth of Morgan Rogers, a 1,500-word descent into a night where Cole Palmer's cursed shard casts its icy shadow over Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers. On April 9th, 2025, Rogers scored against PSG, but Villa still fell 3-1. Turns out, the Cold King's curse ain't so easy to wield. Let's see why Rogers couldn't freeze the French, and what happens when you play with ice that don't play nice. It's a crisp evening in Paris, April 9th, 2025, the Parc des Princes buzzing with the electric hum of a Champions League quarter-final. Aston Villa, the plucky underdogs, are up against the might of Paris Saint-Germain, a team dripping with money and menace. Morgan Rogers, Villa's 22-year-old winger, is on the pitch, his heart pounding like a war drum. He's been on fire lately, 7 goals this season, a breakout star under Unai Emery, but tonight, he's carrying more than just Villa's hopes. In his kit bag, tucked beneath a spare shin pad, is a shard of ice, a jagged piece of frost blue crystal he borrowed from his mate, Cole Palmer. Rogers had heard the whispers about Cole's curse, the shard that turned the Chelsea lad into the Cold King, a talisman who froze rivals with every goal. "Lend it to me for PSG," Rogers had begged the day before, his voice half joking, half desperate. Cole, his eyes flickering with that icy glow, had smirked. "It don't work for everyone, mate. You gotta be cold to wield it." Rogers laughed it off, but he took the shard anyway, its surface so cold it burned his fingers as he slipped it into his bag. He'd seen what it did for Cole. 25 goals, 13 assists, rival teams crumbling under mysterious bad luck. Villa needed that edge tonight. PSG were a machine. Mbappe's pace, Vitinha's vision, Nuno Mendes' steel at the back. Villa were 4th in the Premier League, scrapping for glory, but PSG were favorites to lift the trophy. Rogers wanted to be the hero, the lad who turned the tide. He'd score, he'd freeze PSG, and he'd prove he could handle the curse's chill. But as the floodlights cast long shadows across the pitch, the air felt wrong. Too warm, too alive, like the shard was watching him, waiting for him to fail. The match kicks off, and Villa starts strong. Rogers is electric, his boots dancing on the turf, his mind sharp. In the 12th minute, he gets his chance. Ollie Watkins flicks a header on, and Rogers is through, one-on-one with Donnarumma. The shard hums in his bag on the sidelines, a low, menacing growl, and Rogers feels a chill run down his spine. He strikes, 1-0, a low drive that skids past the keeper, the net rippling like it's caught in a frost. The Villa fans erupt, a sea of claret and blue in the away end, and Rogers sprints to the corner, arms out, mimicking Cole's cold celebration. He shivers theatrically, a nod to the shard, but the air stays warm, the chill fleeting. PSG's players don't falter. They glare at him, their eyes sharp, unfazed. Something's off. The game shifts. PSG press hard, their attack a relentless storm. Mbappe dances past Konsa, his shot deflected wide, but the pressure builds. Rogers feels the shard's hum grow louder, a vibration that rattles his bones, but it's not helping. He's running hot, too hot. His tackles are rash, his passes sloppy, his temper flaring. In the 34th minute, Vitinha equalizes, a curling shot that leaves Martinez grasping at air. The Parc des Princes roars, and Rogers feels the weight of the shard like a stone in his gut. Halftime comes, 1-1, and in the dressing room, Emery's barking orders. But Rogers is distracted. He pulls the shard from his bag, its glow dim, its surface slick with condensation. "Come on," he mutters, gripping it tight, but it doesn't bite like it did for Cole. It feels disappointed. The second half is a nightmare. PSG take control, their midfield a vice, squeezing Villa's hopes dry. Rodgers tries to spark something. He cuts inside, fires a shot, but it's straight at Donnarumma. The Shard's hum turns to a hiss, a sound like ice cracking under heat. In the 67th minute, PSG take the lead. Hakimi's cross finds Barcola, who heads it in, 2-1. Villa's defense crumbles, and Rodgers' frustration boils over. He snaps at a teammate, his voice sharp, his face flushed. The Shard's glow fades entirely, as if it's given up on him. "You're too warm, lad," he hears Cole's voice in his head, a mocking echo. "You ain't got the chill." The final blow comes in stoppage time. Nuno Mendes, PSG's left back, intercepts a loose pass from Rodgers and charges forward, his run unstoppable. He buries a screamer from 25 yards, 3-1, game over. The whistle blows, and Villa are out of the Champions League. Their dream shattered. Rodgers stands on the pitch, head bowed, the roar of the PSG fans a dagger in his ears. The Shard is silent now, cold but lifeless in his bag. He'd scored, but he couldn't freeze the French. The curse didn't work, not for him. As he trudges off, he feels eyes on him, not the crowd, not his teammates, but something else. A shadow in the tunnel, tall and hooded, its skeletal hand outstretched, watching him with a gaze that burns colder than the Shard ever did. Back in Birmingham the next day, Rodgers can't shake the feeling. He's at Villa Park, training with the lads, but his mind's elsewhere. The loss stings, 3-1, a thrashing in the end. But it's more than that. The Shard sits in his locker, its glow faint, almost mocking. He'd called Cole that morning, half laughing, half serious. "Your bloody curse didn't work, mate," he'd said, trying to keep it light. Cole's voice was low, colder than the Shard itself. "Told you, Rodgers. You're too hot-headed. The ice don't like warmth. You gotta be cold. Proper cold." Rodgers had laughed it off, but now, as he kicks a ball around, he feels a chill that ain't from the weather. That night, alone in his flat, Rodgers hears it. A low hum, the same sound the Shard made in Paris. He checks his bag. It's glowing again, brighter than before, but the air around it is heavy, oppressive. The hum turns to a whisper. A voice like gravel, the same one Cole had described from his own encounters. "You failed," it hisses, and Rodgers' blood runs cold. The lights flicker, the room grows dark, and the shadow from the tunnel appears again, its red eyes burning through the gloom. "The ice demands payment," it growls, and Rodgers stumbles back, his heart racing. He grabs the Shard, throws it into a drawer, but the hum doesn't stop. It follows him, a reminder of his failure, a promise of something darker to come. Meanwhile, in London, Cole Palmer sits at Stamford Bridge, his own Shard glowing steady in his hand. He'd felt it last night, the curse's pull, Rodgers' attempt to wield it. He smirks, his eyes flickering blue. "Told you, mate," he mutters, the Shard humming in agreement. Villa might have lost, but Chelsea's next game is Ipswich, and Cole knows the ice will work for him. It always does. But as he stares into the Shard's glow, he wonders, what price will Rodgers pay for playing with a curse he couldn't control? And what happens when the ice comes for its due? So, Dark Channel fam, the Cold King's curse ain't for everyone. Morgan Rodgers tried to freeze PSG, but his fire burned too bright, and the ice turned its back. Will he face the Shadow's wrath, or will he beg Cole to take the Shard back? Drop your thoughts below. Can Rodgers handle the chill, or is he too warm for the curse? Stay haunted, you legends. The ice ain't done yet.